In order to be able to meet with the librarian online, I have steps for you for completing Project 1. And in here it will tell you where to go and who to contact, but we'll walk through that as well in this lecture. You'll want to go to the Wayne State Library homepage, and under there you're going to see that there is a link for resources, and at the middle are research guides. These guides have been developed by librarians, and they have been developed by subject matter, meaning the discourse community that you are entering into. So you'll hit by subject, and you'll see that there's going to be a list. Embedded in some of these are going to be more than one discourse community. So in business administration, you see there's 7. You go to liberal arts and sciences, 38. The discourse community that I'm in and that you actually are writing in for this course is English. And you'll see once you get to the page that there's going to be the librarian that is the expert in this discourse community. For English, that's Judith Arnold. She's a great lady. We work together. And depending on the librarian and how well they develop their webpage will kind of depend on the information you're going to find on these guides. Some of them, as you can see, Judith Arnold's are quite in-depth and have many links on the side. Others are not as well developed, either because they've just started or whatever the case may be. You'll see that there's a link for English 3010, and under this link you're going to see that you can find resources by your discipline, which is the purpose of this course, is to investigate and write in your discipline. Judith also has various different core scholarly journals that are used in this field and for 3010. And you can see that she's also listed other core journals and databases depending on one's discourse community, all the way from biology to social work. Exploring a topic, there's 2 different databases that are really useful. The Gale Virtual Reference Library, this is an online encyclopedia, and it houses a variety of different topics. Very useful if you're interested in something like, say, genetic testing, but you're not really sure what the history about genetic testing is, or how it's been developed or how it's been used. This would be a great place to start. The CQ Researcher is a more up-to-date site. So, for instance, if you were interested in genetic testing and you went into the CQ, it would tell you the current debates, the current uses, the current topics that are surrounding genetic testing. So I suggest that you go through and you find your discourse community under the resource and reference site, and you also need to make sure that you contact the librarian who is responsible for your discourse community. Each librarian has an email function. They typically respond to you within a day or 2. They also have a chat feature once you've emailed them. There is also the Ask a Librarian. This usually runs from about 8 in the morning and I believe till around 7 at night. It's very basic information, but again, it can help you if you're kind of just having issues with the general library system and database system. As you see in Project 1 in the Blackboard folder, the project has a variety of different requirements. In the essay, one of the things that you need to do is define discourse communities and define what your discourse community privileges, how it communicates, its goals, etc. To do this, you're going to need to use the course readings from Swales, Johns, and the Wadsworth Guide to Research, as well as the information that you found from your interviews and from working with your librarian. You're going to need to tell me what types of mechanisms of intercommunication and genres used in your discourse community. That simply means, how do people communicate, whether it be on a daily basis, whether it be to speak with each other in general, and what types of genres are used for that communication. So in the field of business, daily type of intercommunication genres used would be business memos, emails, reports, conferences. But if you were talking about a more general sense of the discourse community, there's a fair amount of research done. It tends to be very theoretical, as well as dealing with numbers and quantitative information. So you're going to want to make sure that you find that out from your interview, from your librarian, from talking with me. A list of where these types of mechanisms and intercommunication and genres are found. Do people typically use this type of communication and the genres on a daily basis in the office? Is it more research-based and theoretical-based, and so therefore, say in literature, quite a bit of the intercommunication and genres are very public, they're published, they're found in books and journals, etc. The other thing that you're going to make sure is that you look at the discourse community's major conversations and how those conversations have changed in the past years. So, for instance, what are the top research topics? What are the top ideas? What's the top types of knowledge that is constantly being discussed within your research for your discourse community, and how has that changed throughout the years? An example of that would be in the nursing community. They used to be very interested very much in just scientific writing and numbers and procedures. In the past 10 or 15 years or so, they've gotten really interested in the psychology of diseases and of patients, so they're interested in how patients respond emotionally to treatment, emotionally to being in hospitals and ICU units, how nurses themselves experience stress, and so the conversations have changed over the years in nursing. You're going to want at the end of the essay to have 2 to 3 possible research questions that are related to your interests and that are appropriate to your discourse community. So the rest of this course is going to be asking you to research and eventually write a research proposal on a topic that you find to be interesting and that is appropriate for your discourse community. So what ideas might you have generated after investigating your discourse community for possible topics for that writing? And then you need a bibliography of the sources you have uncovered during your investigation, and you're going to have to write those in the type of format that's appropriate for your field, whether that be MLA or APA. A place that you can go for help with that is the Purdue OWL. Those of you that are in the liberal arts and humanities, such as music theory, if you're in dance, if you're in art, if you're in English, these kinds of discourse communities, you're going to be writing in MLA, which most of you should be familiar with. If you're in the sciences, business, criminal justice, psychology, engineering, pre-med, any of these hard sciences, you'll be writing in APA. As you can see on the OWL at Purdue, they've got both styles that you can look over. They give you the general format, basics of in-text citation, all the way down to the nitty-gritty of the paper. So they'll give you a sample paper, the different types of headings that one uses, and there's actually quite a few headings that are used in APA. If you're not sure what format you should be writing in for your discourse community, email me and I will let you know. Another place that would be of use for you for figuring out how to write in the format necessary for your discourse community, as well as getting feedback and help on your essays, would be to visit the Wayne State Writing Center. You can come in and get face-to-face appointments. It's free. You can come in once a week, 5 days a week. And what would be useful for most of you is that we have an online writing center as well. So we use Google Hangouts, Google Documents, Google Chat in order to work with students during live synchronous time with the students. So you have to be present, you have to have sent in your email. So you can check out this site and to see the requirements for setting up an online appointment. So that might be something that is of interest to you. Of course, you can always email me or contact me and meet me either through Skype, or you can meet me face-to-face in my office or at the Writing Center, since I direct the Writing Center there. And a few tips for you for getting this project set up and for finishing it successfully. Make sure that you read through the project examples found in the Project 1 Blackboard folder. Those are past students who have written up the same essay that I'm asking you to write. While not perfect, they do have their strengths and weaknesses. You can always send me questions about those examples, what I thought worked, what I thought didn't work. Make sure that you use the supplied outline suggestion that I sent via the announcements on Blackboard. This is just a suggestion, but it is an example of how I could consider you organizing and setting up your paper, as well as giving you a very nice detailed list of pretty much all of the information that I expect to see within the paper. Make sure you meet with your librarian. You'll see that I need verification that you've met with your librarian. You're going to have to submit your email exchange or exchanges with your librarian to Blackboard. Make sure that you email and consider setting up a conference with me for any questions you may have. Make sure that you are writing in the correct format, MLA or APA. Visit the Purdue OWL and visit the Wayne State Writing Zone if you'd like additional support. Other than that, feel free to email me or stop by my office or the Writing Center, and good luck with the rest of your paper.